Assalamu alaikum and hello everyone. Welcome to Mathematics with Shahabiaku. Now, in this particular video, we are solving a practice P2 paper, and this is provided by the Cambridge board, and this is for the examination of 2025. So I've taken the initiative of solving two specimen paper, 1A and 1B, and a practice paper of 1A. Now I'm focusing on practice 2. And I think one of the specimen, I think 1B, I've already solved, and I'll be solving one more. So that is all from my side for this particular examination. Let's get started. This is 817. Now, this is a walkthrough solution. So I think it should take maximum of 35 minutes. So 8:17 p.m., that is the start. And let's stop after the first 10 questions. And then I'll tell you how should you analyze your working. So now that's a list of formulas. Let's get started. Question number 1, it's a basic plugging in. Find the value of y when m and x and c have the following values. Use brackets as much as possible. Negative, negative becomes positive. Another plus sign, negative. This comes out to be -2. So basically, it's about order of operations. Take care of the brackets and everything. Write down the reciprocal. You can remember it from your memory, or you should be able to carry out long division. So now there are certain fractions that you should take care of. That is like 1/4 and half and 3/4 and 1/5, 2/5, 3/5, 4/5, and so on. So therefore, the value is 0.125. Divide $24 in the ratio of 7:5. So 7 plus 5 is 12. 12 goes in the denominator. Let's say this is person A, this is person B. So A will be getting 7/12 of 24, that is $14. And person B will be getting 5/12 of 24, which is $10. So 14 and 10, written in the same order, big, small, therefore big, small. Write 26.40 as a fraction. Now I have already said before that the lines between P1 and P2 is blurred. There is no line of distinction as such. So this is kind of a P1 question, except the numbers are bigger. So first thing I did this, then I divided by this. And the second thing was this, 123 and 14350. So that is division by 2. And then you can use a calculator and simplify, or just plug in the calculator in the fraction thing. And you write the first thing over here, the second thing over here, and this would give you your answer as a fraction. So that is for question. Question number 5, I cannot use a scale diagram on this thing. I don't have the tools available for this one. The scale drawing shows the position of both town A and town B. The scale of the drawing is 1 centimeter to 12 kilometer. Scale is written over here. That is the length of AB. So measure this thing using a compass. That is the main thing. A lot of people ask this question, why should we are taking a compass to the examiner? So because first ruler will come later, first the compass, the two edges, and then put those two edges on the ruler and measure. That is 8.8 centimeter. Apply ratio proportion. This is 105.6 kilometers. Town C is 72 kilometers from A, 96 kilometers from B. 72 kilometers is 6 centimeter on the map. 96 kilometer, it's 8 centimeters on the map. Draw an arc of length 6 centimeter. Arc length 8 centimeter. So basically, you put your compass over here, you draw this arc. This is just a rough diagram. Put your compass over here, draw another arc. And where the two arcs meet, that is C, and that is how you would join the lines like this. So the line would go something like this, and the line would go something like this. That's how this thing is constructed. Construct the position of town C. They're not asking us to draw the triangle. I just did. Question number 6. This is called what you call scatter diagram. It's part of statistics. There are 12 points altogether. They were plotted as crosses. So now you also plot the next 6 points. Be very careful. The first 6 points have been plotted for you. Basic idea. First, look at the scale. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So one block is 1 unit. The same goes for the x-axis. What type of correlation does the scatter diagram show? It has a positive slope. Therefore, it's a positive correlation. And then on the scatter diagram, draw the line of best fit. I have drawn the line of best fit. Some points, very few points are on the line. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 are on the top. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 are at the bottom. That's a perfectly balanced line. So whatever are left, that should be at the top. Whatever are left, more or less the same number should be there. So this is like, just make it a little bit obvious. So like this and like this. Okay. So that's how these points are plotted. Another person drives a distance of 30 kilometers to work. Use your line of best fit to estimate, because this is just an estimate. It's not exact how many minutes they take. So 30 kilometers. So let me go over here. And that is 30 kilometers. Let me go like this. And then let me go to the left. And I think it's giving me a very good answer. That is 40 minutes. So 40 minutes is the answer for this particular part. Question 7. Dean invests $500 for 10 years at a rate of 1.7% per year simple interest. So use the simple interest formula, which is I is equals to PRT over 100. Calculate the total interest. They are just asking for the interest, not the value of investment, total interest during the 10-year period. So we have P, we have N, we have R. Just use a calculator, and this comes out to be 85. Actually, this can be done without the calculator. This 0, this 0, this 0, this 0 cancels out 50 into 1.7. Or cancel the two zeros. 5 into 10 is 50, or 5 into 17. 1.7 into 10 is 17. 5 into 17 is 85. So simple. Question 8. On the Venn diagram, shade the region A intersection B. So a lot of things, these are very easy flow questions so far. On the Venn diagram, shade the region A intersection B. A intersection B is this. And then set a part B. Universal set is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. X is an even number, 2, 4, 6. X is a prime number, 2, 3, 5. 1 is not a prime number. So 2 goes in the middle because that's the only even prime number. That is the intersection. And P has 4 and 6. So 4 and 6 goes over here. 3 and 5 goes over here. 1 is part of the universal set, but it's neither part of P nor part of Q. Therefore, it comes on the outside. That's how the Venn diagram is complete. Question number 9. That is solve. 8x plus 3 is 4x minus 5. Make x the subject. That is -2. Make sure you write it over here. Write 2 raised to power of -4 as a decimal. 1 over 2 power 4. 1 over 16.0625. Now, the first 10 questions, that is 825 at the moment. Let me go back. So first 10 questions, it took 825. So that is like 8 minutes. 8 minutes for me to do the explanation. If you are working it yourself, multiply it with 1.5. Multiply it with 2. So 16 minutes to work it out. Okay, let me make this multiplication factor 2. So 16 minutes for these first 10 easy flow questions. Let's go back. Let's focus on the next questions. Where are we? So now let's get started over here. Question number 11. So that is the second half of this. So let me start with this. The second half starts over here. And this is 8:25. Soon it will turn into 8:26. So 8:26 p.m. That is the next part. Let's focus on the next 8 questions. So first 10, now next 8. A plane flies from Melbourne to Tokyo at an average speed of this much. The distance from Melbourne to Tokyo is this much. The plane leaves Melbourne at 9:52 local time. Local time in Tokyo is 2 hours behind the local time in Melbourne. So this is Melbourne. This is Tokyo. If it's 8 a.m. in Tokyo, therefore it's 10 a.m. in Melbourne. Okay. So that's how things are. Just keep this in mind on the sidelines. Find the local time in Tokyo. First, work about the local time in Melbourne. First thing first, step 1 and 2. Distance divided by speed is this much. The next thing is the conversion. That's 10 hours and 40 minutes. So now you have 10 hours, you have 40 minutes. Step number 3, that is about this, 9:52 a.m. in Melbourne. Add 10 hours over here. So 10 hours added, what does it become? That becomes 7:52. So 9:52 becomes 7:52. Then add 8 minutes. So I got 8 p.m. because I'm breaking 40 minutes into 8 and 32. And then add 32 minutes. That's the way I like to do it. So that is 8:32. You are free to choose any which method that you like. I personally believe in this. It's not over yet. It's not over yet. The last part. That was the time in Melbourne. Correct. Therefore, the time in Tokyo is 2 hours behind. Therefore, this is 6:32. So logic, clarity, show essential working, show all working. Everything is essential. Do not compromise on that. This is the tip from Shahab Yaqub to get your A star. Let's move on. The next one, factorize, very simple. Taking common is factorization. Middle term factorization is factorization. Factorization by making groups is that a square minus b square, a plus b, a minus b. That's called difference of two squares. All these are factorization. So 12 and 9, I took 3 common, x square and x, I took x common, I got this. So therefore, this is 3x bracket, 4x plus 3, no harm in double checking. So 3x into 4x, that's 12x squared, 3x into 3, that is 9x, positive sign, positive sign, positive sign, all good. Question 13, percentage. In a sale, the original prices are reduced by 15%. So original, if it's 100, it will become 15. Now they have asked two kind of questions. The first kind of question is that is, they are asking for the sale price of the book. So just use ratio proportion like this. So this goes like this goes like this. That's how you use it. And you find this value, that is 10.2. Similarly, the second kind of question is what? The second kind of question is they are asking for the original price. So now for the original price, again, this time original is unknown. It's the same thing as before. So therefore, 100 becomes 85, y becomes 38.25, multiply it like this, and the value of this thing is over here. So basically, in percentages, it's the concept of ratio proportion, and this is also known as unitary method. Question 13 is done. Question 14, it says FC, United and City are football teams. FC scored X goals. United scored 8 goals more, X plus 8. City scored 3 fewer than twice the number of goals by FC. So if I take FC X, multiply it by 2, and then subtract 3. So that's how this thing is there. So let me just put brackets over here, and let me pause the recording for Azan. So now let's continue. So now the 3 things are written over here. This is the first one, that is FC. That is the next one, that is x plus 8. And then the third one, 2x minus 3. So everything added together should equal to what? 117. Very basic question. X comes out to be 28. Write it over here. Simplify. So over here, P is at the top and P is over here. So P into P is P squared. Q and Q cancels out. 4 over 2 is 2. So therefore, this is P squared into 2p squared divided by t. And that is the answer. 4 raised to power of 4, that's 256. X raised to power of 3 into 4, Bowers multiply, x raised to power of 12, that is the answer. 16. So now find the gradient of the line. Choose nice points which are easy to read. So I find it this easy to read. I find this one easy to read. I find the gradient, that comes out to be 3. Double check, it's going up. It has got a positive slope. The y-intercept, you can see it's -2. And then you write down the equation of a line. Question 17. So now this was slightly bigger question, slightly. The diagram shows the graph. X lies between -1 and 3. By drawing a tangent, estimate the gradient of the curve at x is equals to half. So x is equals to half is this point. And you draw a tangent line, which is not too much tilted on one side. So of course, it's a rough estimate. And then choose any 2 nice points. So I choose these 2 nice points. 1, 2, 0, 5. I get the gradient as -3. So let me write over here. This is part A, so that everything is visible. This is part A. Part B, use your graph to estimate the solution of the equation of 1 over 2x squared plus 3x is 2. So now this thing over here, Isn't this what you have drawn earlier? Yes. So replace it with y. This constant 2 is left. So therefore, draw y is equals to 2. So when we draw y is equals to 2, we look for the point of intersection. So this is y is equals to 2. This is part B. Point of intersection is this one. That is right over here. That is negative 0.4. Part C. By drawing a suitable line on the grid, estimate the solution of the equation. So 1 over 2x square is written. What is missing? This 3x was missing. So add 3x on both sides. So now this thing becomes y. This simplifies to 7 minus x. Y is equals to 7 minus x. So in order to draw a straight line, 2 or 3 points would do the job. What I did was that I took x is equals to 0, y is 7. I took y is 0, x is 7. But over here, when we look at this thing, we don't have x is equals to 7 over here. So therefore, I chose another point. Let me choose x is equals to 2, y is 5. So now I have the following points. In this case, that is 0, 7 and 2, 5, and I can draw a line. So this is part C. This is 0, 7 and 2, 5. I drew the line. This is part C. This is y is equals to 7 minus x. At how many points is it intersecting? First point, second point, third point. This first point, read it off. Second point, read it off. Third point, read it off. And these are the 3 answers that I'm getting. You can pause the recording, have a good look. Let me enlarge it and take a screenshot, and then also draw it yourself and double check. All good? So now let's look at question number 18. The diagram shows a field ABCD. So there is A, there is B, there is C, there is D, and the bearing of B from A is 140 degrees. So B from A, this whole thing is 140 degrees. That means if this thing is a horizontal line, this much is 90, this is 50, because it will be used in calculation. C is due east of B, C is due east of B, therefore this is 90. D is due north of C, D is due north of C. Let me write a north over here, let me write a north over here. And then the following distances are given to us. That is 400. Then there is 350. There is 450 over here. So these distances are given to us. First thing, find the bearing of D from B. So D from B, if I need to find the bearing, I need this thing over here. But in order to find this thing, I should first find theta. So now basic trigonometry, right angle, this is 90, this is 90 because of this north. Therefore, this whole thing is 450, this thing is 350. Tangent of theta is 450 over 350. Theta comes out to be this. Bearing is 90 degrees minus this, that is 37.87. Bearing is written as a 3-digit number. So therefore, I wrote this thing as 038. All good, all clear? Now the next part, calculate the distance from D to A. We have to look at this diagram. So the distance from D to A is this thing. This thing over here is 40, because if this is 50, this is 90, this is 40. And this thing over here is this much, 50, not this thing. Theta is this thing. This is 37.87. This is 37.87. So basically, this whole angle over here, that is how much? 40 plus 37, that is 77.87 degrees. I have 400, and then I just found this value, which I can find on the next page by Pythagoras theorem. So I can find this value, and then I can use cosine rule to find AD. So it's a 2-step working. First of all, find BD. This is that Pythagoras thing. And I can even use this thing. BD is equals to square root of 325,000, because later on, I can just use this exact value. Well, this is also good enough because this is 5 SF. So we have 400, we have 570.08, we have this angle, and then let's use cosine rule, 400 square, 570 square, 2 into 400 into this, into this. Cos of an acute angle is positive, therefore this negative remains. This is AB square. AB is this much. Round it off to 3 significant figure. So this is for 6 marks. So now, which question is this? This is question number 8. That's done. 18. That's done. Let me move over here. Hold for a second. So now we have done how many? I want to see that blue strip. That's right over here. We started at 8:26. Next 8 questions, and then we are over here. So therefore, over here, 8:26 till 8:39, that is 13 minutes for walk-through solution. So this is question 11 till question 18 inclusive. Therefore, you should take 26 minutes max when you want to solve it yourself. All good, all clear? So first 10 questions, I think that was over here. First 10 questions, how much time did it take? I think I wrote it at the top. First 10 questions, that is 8 minutes for me. So 10 questions. First 10. First 10, that is 8 minutes. And then this is 13 minutes. That is next 8. This is walkthrough solution. Got it? And now let me focus on the rest of the questions. So I think there should be 7 of them, if I'm not mistaken. Let's see. I think it would take around like 18 minutes or something. So now 18 minutes or something. So let me go this way. So that was the trigonometry thing. And let's get started with this. So let me label my time. That is 8:40 p.m. And this is 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, and 25. So there are these questions over here. So 19 till 25. Okay, 6 or 7 questions. So now let's get started. It says the speed of each of 200 cars passing a building is measured. Let me just double check if the recording is all good, all clear. Yes, it is. So now it says the table shows the result. Speed, these are class boundaries given. Frequency, calculate an estimate of the mean. For mean, when we are talking about grouped frequency distribution, so we have to use X, which is the mid value. So 0 and 20 mid value is 10, 20 and 40 mid value is 30, 40 and 45 mid value is this, and then we evaluate this thing. So therefore, X bar equals 10 into 16, 30 into 34, 42.5 into 62, 47.5 into 58, 55 into 26, and 70 into 4, everything added together, divided by what? Divided by 200 cars. So you add it all up, that should be 200 because it says so. This is the answer, 3SF, or maybe exact. Use the frequency table to complete the cumulative frequency table. Very, very necessary. So now over here, 0 till 20 is 16. So therefore, take the upper class boundary. Let me write over here. We are working on the upper class boundary. Less than 20 is 16. Less than 40 is 34 plus 16 is 50. Less than 45 is 62, 34, 16. This was 50 plus 62. That is 112. 58 plus 112, 170. 170 plus 26, 196. 196 plus 4 is 200. The last one will correspond to sum of frequency always. And there should be one other thing, which is over here. And let me also show you the mark scheme for this one. Just the graph thing. It's gone somewhere. I don't know. Why is it not showing? I think a page is missing from here. Okay, so now over here, when we draw this cumulative frequency, we have to do this thing, touch the x-axis. So therefore, over here, this is the last thing that it should touch. And let me just draw a graph a little bit thicker. I'll be using a curvature thing. So let me just use a blue color. Something like this. Okay, something like this. That's not very exact, but more or less, that's how it's drawn. Use your graph to find and estimate the number of cars for speed greater than 35. So over here, cumulative frequency will give us the value of less than. It's based upon upper class boundary. Therefore, it will give you values less than something. So let me go to 35. And over here, if I make it thinner and a green color over here, so let me touch the graph like this. Let me read of this value. So therefore, over here, the cumulative frequency, it's 40. So less than or equal to 35 kilometer per hour. This must be the number of cars, right? Yeah, this is number of cars. So that should be 40 cars. Therefore, more than 35 should be 200 minus 40. That comes out to be 160. That is the answer. They have given this range, 158 to 162. My answer lies exactly in the middle. So I think that's a pretty good estimate. And make sure that this is dotted like this. And also make sure to label the part. So this is part 3 over here, and then you subtract it from the total. And always double check if it's ending over here, does it correspond to this or not? So now this thing is done. Question number 20. The diagram shows the sector of a circle of radius 8. Find the length of the arc is this thing. So now if we are talking about a radius of a sector, so that is the radius. This is the radius and the arc length is this thing like this. And angle of the sector, let the angle of the sector, let me call it theta. So let POQ, there is no O over here, let me label it, equals to theta. Find the area of the sector. So it's a two-step solution. Step 1, arc length formula. This time I found theta, but I did not use a calculator. Leave in exact form. When I left this thing in exact form, things become very easy for me in the next one. So step number 2, that is the area formula. So now I wrote this thing. I wrote a theta as 144 over pi. There was already a pi over here. So this pi and this pi will cancel out. Then without even using the value of pi, I got this answer. Value of pi was not used at all. So that is out of box thinking. Correct? So that's how you work it out. You preserve your accuracy and you are aiming for that A star because that is the way I have taught you. That is the way I have what you call groomed you in order to achieve mark at every single step. So I'm very, very positive that you people will be achieving this thing. Question number 21. We solved this question in one of the videos that was about exponential function. We are looking at it again. Population of a village, 6,800. Let me start underlining. That is 6,800 increases exponentially at a rate of R person per year. So an increase, this is plus. If it's a decrease, it's a minus. At the end of 5 years, the population of the village is this much. Calculate the value of R. Sketch a graph. Graph is very easy because the graph is of the form y is equals to Ka power x. And we know that A is a positive constant. So this is a graph of growth and this is an exponential growth. So just start with 6,800 and keep on going up exponentially. So that is easy. Over here, this is calculator work. This divided by this is 1 plus R over 100 raised to power of 5. And apply this rule over here, which is what? Which is this thing, that is if A raised to power of m equals to B, A is B raised to power of 1 over m. Square, square root, cube, cube root, power 5, fifth root. So this is the fifth root over here. Got it? And this comes out to be this thing. And there is a 0 also over here. There is a 0. There is a 0. I'm leaving the answer in 3 significant figures. You find the value of r. That's how the equation would look like if they ask for this. And that is what I have drawn over here. Next one, trigonometry. So now we saw one question of trigonometry in the beginning and another question that's kind of a little bit imbalanced, but it's a specimen paper. So let it go. So now the first thing, calculate RS. RS is this thing. So let me grab this thing. This is RS. So 55 and RS are opposite. 80 and this thing are opposite. This angle was not given. You find it by addition, subtraction. 55, 45, 100. 180 minus 100 is 80. This is an application of sine rule. So this is an application of sine rule. Sine A over A, sine B over B, make R as the subject. Give the answer. And over here, write in at least 4 SF. So even if it's more, no issue. Over here, this answer is 3 SF. For the next part, use the unrounded value. Now it says calculate the total area of the two triangles. So there is a big triangle, there is a small one. This big one is right over here. You have this, you have this, you have the included angle. You have this thing, you have this thing, you have the included angle. So let me just remove these colors over here. And let me just focus a bit more on this. So I have this length. This is one. This is the other one. And this is the angle that is in use. Over here, I have this length. I have this length over here. And this is the angle that is in use. Be very, very clear about it. And this is the blue working. This is the red working. And this is the red answer. This is the blue answer. You add it up, take care of the accuracy. And this is the answer, correct to 3 SF. Question number 3, something new in the syllabus. So watch the video of cubic and let me show you the working for that. It was somewhere over here. Yes, over here. Let me go over here. And where is it? This is sketching reciprocal. Watch this video also on reciprocal if someone has a weak basic on it. And then over here, yes, that's the cubic one. This whole concept is explained over here. Where is how do you draw the graph of y is equals to x cube? How do you draw the graph of negative x cube? And then fx is x cube, fx is negative x cube, and then steepness, and then translation up, translation down. All this thing was discussed over there. So let me go back to this paper over here. The first thing is factorize. This is part of the new syllabus that is about factorization. And it's also about the sketch thing. So they will give you a cubic in which there is no constant term, so that when I take x common, I'm left with a quadratic. I can do middle term factorization, and that's how things are there. So this is x minus 4, this is 2x plus 5. You can write in any order because they are multiplying. Now they're asking us to sketch the graph. So in order to sketch the graph, I need the shape and I need the roots of the equation. Roots means x-intercept. That means solution of equation. Only two things are there. So the coefficient of x cube is positive. So it will start with top right and it will go till bottom left, or vice versa. Someone can say start with bottom left, go till top right. The next thing, that is the roots of the equation. That is, equate these three, factorize brackets equal to 0. These are the x-intercept. X is positive 4, 0, negative 5 over 2. And then the graph is coming like this, passing through the first root, passing through the second root, passing through the third root. And over here, when we are having this scenario in which x is common, so definitely it will pass through the origin. That's a hard and fast rule. So that's how this thing is drawn. A lot of people ask this question, how do you find the turning point? You're not supposed to, because you're not doing differentiation of pure math. That is not in O-level math syllabus. That's not part of it. That you will study in AS level starting from August. So now this question number 23 is done. Question number 24. Again, this is new thing. This is cubic expansion. So this is also new from 2025 onwards. Now they have realized that they have to explain all those things so that your A level goes very smoothly. First, take two brackets and then multiply. So take this bracket and multiply this thing like this. And then what is the next part? Then take this bracket and multiply with everything over here. And now look at the working. First thing, what I've done, let me remove the color. First thing, I have used blue color. I have taken X, no, the blue color. I have taken X multiplied with all these three. I got these three terms in blue. Then I have taken this 3 and got these 3 in green. And then I added vertically because it's very easy to add. X cube, only one term. Constant, only one term. 2 terms of X square, added up. 2 terms of X, added up. And then always write in the proper order. X cube, and then X square, and then X power 1, and then X power 0, which is the constant. Question number 25, another cubic. I think it's obsessed with cubic. Now over here, it says that the diagram shows a cube. Let me first erase this thing so I can tell you the steps. This was done in one of the workshop classes. So now over here, let me erase it. So now the diagram shows a cube. Let me add a page first. And it says calculate the angle between such and such, BH and BCGF. So this is B, this is H, and the side or the face BCGF. Now, let me do the working. Let me first focus on the denominator, sorry, the base. There is no denominator over here. So let me focus on this. If I focus on this, let's say I find this thing, which is like this. So this thing can be found. That is based upon Pythagoras theorem. That's good. The next thing, let me focus on this thing. Let me make it thinner. And focus on 6, focus on 7, and find this thing. I can also find this thing. That is also good, BG. And let me again label this thing. That was this thing, that was this, and you find this thing. So once you have found these two, you can do some other working also. Now, let me show you that working back over here. First of all, focus on the triangle DAB. So DAB, that is D, A, and B. So I'm focusing on this. I found this using Pythagoras theorem. This is 6, this is 6, this is 12, 36, 144, 180, square root of 180. That is the first thing. If you want to write the units, you can go ahead and write it. So that is step number 1. Step number 2, HDB. So now focus on H and D and B. So now this thing, this dB from the first part becomes the base, and this is the height, which is 7. 7 square is 49. Root 180 square is 180. This is 229. So this is root 229 centimeter. That is the second thing. Now let's focus on BCG. So the third time, BCG, that's the third time. And now I'm finding this. This is coming out to be root 85 centimeter. So now let me use 3 colors over here. I have this thing, which is BG. I'm going in the reverse order. That is BG. Then I'm having this thing, which is HB. So where is HB? HB is like this. And this green one, I don't need it. It was already used up, so I don't need it. And now let me use this color over here. That is deep blue for this thing. That is HG. So now which angle am I focusing on? I am focusing on the angle between BH and this side. So this whole side, if I turn it around, which I'll do very shortly, I'm interested in this particular angle. So BG is root 85. HB is root 229. This root 180 was used up, and this thing is 12. Got it? So therefore, if I use cosine rule, 12 is opposite to this. 12 square, root 229 square, root 85 square, minus 2 into root 229, root 85 cosine theta. I find the value of theta as 52.5, correct to 1 dB. That's one approach. But there is a better approach. So this is kind of a slightly difficult approach. But I mean, that's part of life. That's for 4 marks. Now, what have I done over here? I have turned around the page. For me, I cannot turn around the iPad. So what I can do is that I can take this figure, and then that's how things are there. BG is root 85. And this one, BH, that is not even needed. So I'm just working. Let me remove this page first of all. So let me remove this page that is of no use. So now, first of all, I just need BG. I don't need root 180. I don't need root 229. So my steps are cut short. So this is again SY, out of box thinking. That means rotate the page. So if I rotate the page, what do I see? I see a right angle triangle right over here. Let me use a purple or greenish color. So I see a right angle triangle over here. Because this is on the ground, this is perpendicular, that is 12. This is root 85. And I'm looking at this angle, and this angle is theta over here. So tangent of theta is 12 over root